Hey guys, this is chapter 7 of 4th grade Rats. Our learning goal for today is I can pay attention to the setting of the story to see how it influences characters' actions. So it's the same learning goal that we've learned for the past 2 days. Before we start reading the story, go ahead and get your journal out, set it up, just like we've been doing for the last couple days and also last week. Separate your notes into thoughts, words, or actions. And as we record our notes today, I'm going to give you the option. You can either pick Joey to write notes on or Suds. Now, as you're doing your note taking, make sure that when you're in your actual notes, why don't you go ahead and label the top, whether you're taking notes on Joey or Suds. I want you to write that down at the top. Also, write that you're taking notes on chapter 7. Okay, so you should have at the top chapter 7, Suds or Joey, you pick. Okay, hopefully you're all set up with your notes. If not, pause this video. I'm going to go ahead and start reading chapter 7. Trashing Joey's room. When I got to Joey's house that night, his room looked the same as always, but not for long. "Been working on myself so far," he said. "Now, it's my room's turn." First, we put up posters. Rainbow, Hulk Hogan, and one showing this big nasty robot type dude. Except you could see whiskers and a long tail sticking out. It was called Roborat. He checked out the walls. Good. Now the rest. He started with his bookshelf. He pulled out 4 or 5 volumes from his encyclopedia and threw them on the floor. Then he tossed out a couple comic books and a National Geographic. He opened every drawer in his dresser. He flipped out stuff from each one. Socks, underwear, shirts. They landed all over. He kicked his wastebasket over. He dragged his dirty clothes hamper from the closet and dumped it on the floor. He charged into his desks. Pencil and papers and rubber bands went flying. About the only thing he didn't do was spit. By now, you could hardly see the floor. He stood in the middle, turning, nodding, smiling. Yeah, now it's my room. I just sat on the bed stunned. Until then, Joey Peterson's room had been the neatest room I had ever seen. Why do you think Joey is messing up his room like this? What's the whole point? I want you to stop and make a prediction with your learning coach. Why do you think he is basically making his room into a pigsty? And he wasn't done. We ordered a pizza, and when he got we ordered a pizza, and when he got down to the crust of each slice, he tossed it over his shoulder. One landed in his underwear drawer. The pizza box he flipped like a frisbee against the wall. After that, we had fudgesicles and peanut chews. The wrappers, at least, his wrappers, went onto the floor. He took a wad of bubblegum from his mouth and winged it against his dresser mirror. It stuck. I guess he couldn't think of anything else to do to his room, because he turned back to himself. He pulled something from his pocket. It looked like a little notepad. "What is it?" I asked him. He grinned. "Tattoos." "Oh no." Into the bathroom we went. He tore off 4 and wetted them. Pretty soon, he was tattooed on his chest, skull and crossbones, both arms, a cobra and a mongoose, and rear end. If you can read this, you're too close. Okay, wow. So if you're taking notes on Joey, oh my word, you probably have a lot written down so far. Same thing goes for, it seems like it's just right now, Suds is the spectator, but if you're taking notes on Suds, make sure you are trying to catch the details. If not, you can always rewind this video and play this video over again to you. Okay. You know, they're not gonna last, I told him. They'll last till I get a bath, he said, and I ain't getting a bath except once a month from now on. I pinched my nose. Oh, great, man. Do you have to smell like a rat too? As we left the bathroom, we bumped into his mother. I saw your room, she said. What are you doing in there? Training elephants? We laughed. Well, she looked at Joey. As soon as Suds leaves tomorrow, you see that it gets cleaned up. Uh-huh, I thought. This is it. Will he practice what he preaches? Practice what he preaches an expression. Like, is he going to do what he's telling him to do? So, Joey is telling the Suds to say no to his mom. But is Joey really going to say no to his mom too? He's not going to practice what he's preaching, is what he's predicting. Joey slouched against the bathroom doorway. He looked off down the hall. Nah, I don't think so. Mrs. Peterson blinked. You don't think what? I don't think I'm going to clean it up. I like it that way. I took a step back. If Mrs. Peterson was about to get violent, I wanted to be out of range. Joey looked at the floor. I looked at Mrs. Peterson. Mrs. Peterson glared daggers at Joey. This lasted for about 3 hours. Then, all of a sudden, it was over. Mrs. Peterson gave a little shrug and a smile and said, "Okay," and walked away. I gawked at Joey. Again, gawked means he's impressed. Just on this one day, he had faced a bee and a mad mother, and here he was, alive and healthy as ever. He gave me the thumbs up sign. See? Nothing to it. Then, Joey told me to wait in his room. When he came back, he had a hammer, a jar of nails, a bag of cotton balls, a bottle of iodine, and some Band-Aids. Iodine is like a material that disinfects. It can disinfect wounds, so it can make it clean. I asked what all that was for. Put a hole in my ear, he said. I screeched. You're gonna wear an earring? Nope. So why are you putting a hole in your ear? He grinned. Pain. If I didn't already know he was loony, I knew it now. I told him, the only thing about you that's turning rat is your brain. He ignored me. He cleared a space on his desk. He opened the jar of nails and dumped them out. He rooted through them until he found one he liked, a long, thin one. He handed the nail to me, along with the hammer. He got a felt-tip pen, went to his mirror, and put a dot in the middle of his right earlobe. He came back to the desk, knelt down beside it, real close, and flapped his lobe out so it sat like a tiny pancake on the top edge of the desk. Lobe is the little part of your ear where you do see some people where they have earrings. That's where the lobe is located, where the earring part is. I looked at the hammer and nail and in my hands. Oh no, I said. I dumped them on the desk and took a seat on the bed. You do it, if you're crazy enough. I would, he said, but I can't, not like this. Come on, just do it. I didn't move. You mind if I ask you a stupid question, like why you want to hammer a hole in your ear? What do you mean? Pain? He pulled his earlobe off the desk. He sat on the floor. You gotta learn to take pain. That's all. No more crybaby. You know, like the Indians used to do. I had to go through stuff really painful before you could become a man. You had to prove you could take it. I got news for you, I told him. You're not an Indian. He looked at me disgusted. He grabbed the hammer and held it out. You gonna do it? Okay, so make a prediction. Do you think Joey is going to do it? Do you think he's going to put a hole in Joey's earlobe? Is Suds going to put a hole in Joey's earlobe? I'm interested to know. Let's see. Turn the page. I shook my head. No. He threw the hammer down. Thanks, pal. Listen, I said. If it means that much to you, why don't you just do some easier kind of pain? Something you don't need a hammer or nail for. Like what? He said. I thought about it. Well, how about bending your finger back? Nah, he said. That's dorky. I thought some more. How about kicking your door with your bare big toe? He didn't like that one either. I got it, I said. Knuckle your head 10 times. Forget it. But now I didn't want to forget it. I was getting into it. I rattled off some more. Pull out a hair. Sit the three thickest volumes of the encyclopedia on your tongue. Sleep all night with erasers up your nose. Wrap your mouth around the doorknob and slam it shut. I was still going when the phone rang. It was pretty late, so we were both surprised when his mother called and said it was for him. He went out. When he came back, he looked innocent. Too innocent. It was her, wasn't it? I said. I told her not to call people so late. I shoved him. Traitor! He shoved me back. Listen, Morton, I didn't call her. She called me. Took you long enough to hang up. What'd you want me to do? Slam down the phone as soon as she said hello? Maybe. I want you to lay off her. Okay, so be sure you're taking your notes. You should have at least 6 or 7 facts down by now because we're almost finished with this chapter. But I want you to make prediction. Do you think Suds has the right to tell Joey to not talk to Judy? Sorry, I forgot her name for a second. Do you think he has a right to tell Joey to not talk to Judy? What do you think? Do you think that's what he needs to do in order to be a better friend to Suds? He laughed. I keep telling you, jerkface, I don't care about her. I ain't chasing her. She's chasing me. You want her to chase you? He threw the pad of tattoos in my face. Do something about it. We glared at each other. He turned on the TV. We watched a couple horror movies. In silence, we went to bed. When we woke up Saturday morning, I said, okay. He rubbed sleepies from his eyes. Okay, what? What do I do? He sat up. You ready to be a rat? I shrugged. I guess so. But I don't think I know how. It doesn't come natural to me. No sweat, he said. We just do what all beginners do. What's that? Practice. Okay, so let's look back at our learning goal. I can pay attention to the setting of a story to see how it influences characters' actions. So, what was the setting of chapter 7? Where were they mostly in chapter 7? Hopefully you caught, and I'll give the setting to you. They were at Joey's house. Okay, and how is it influencing their character? Okay, so go ahead as you tick it out. Whether you chose Joey or Suds, I want you to fill this ticket out. The setting of chapter 6 is blank. Blank is blank. I think this because blank. So the setting of chapter 6 is, we all know, at Joey's house. And Suds or Joey, whichever one you picked, is blank. What do you think he is? Hopefully you also took notes. You think this because blank. So remember, you can refer back to your character trait list to describe your character. Okay, so you can use this. Let me pull it out a little bit more. Oh, too much. Hold on. Okay, it's not really letting me, but I'll just show you most of it. Okay. Or this part down here too. Okay, you could pause it to help you out as well. Okay, so use this, tell me for chapter 6 what character you used and give them a personality trait, and use your notes to think about why you believe this. All right, so that's your ticket out. You are to submit that. Submit your notes and submit your ticket out. That's it for chapter 7. We will continue chapter 8 with tomorrow's lesson.